Welcome to sometimes sunny, sometimes rainy, sometimes cloudy Jakarta. And the car we have today with us is the all-new Innova. Now, Toyota haven't given us a new Innova for a long time. But this new car is more stylish, more luxurious, more practical, and it even comes with a lot more power. We've got the car with us for the whole day. Let's see what it's like. The first thing that strikes you about this new Innova is that it looks much nicer in the flesh. The frameless grille works particularly well. It forms a focal point of the design from where all the lines originate, and the fact that it bulges out makes it look three-dimensional. And the new headlight and grille combo make it look even more attractive. But it still looks very van-like from the side. Toyota has tried every trick in the book. It has a tapering glass house, a kink in the window line, a wider base, but the van-like dimensions still shine through. And what doesn't help is that this new longer car is built on the same wheelbase as the current one. That said, the ridge or mini ledge that runs along the shoulder line of the car does give it a degree of separation, and the boomerang-like taillights at the rear look great. While the earlier Innova was boring and practical, this one is much more luxuriously appointed. It's beautifully designed. Just look at the swatch of wood that runs right across. These Fox aluminium inserts do really well on the center console. It's got this nice big touchscreen, lovely highlights in chrome here, beautifully crafted steering wheel, new dials, another color screen in the center. It's a big step ahead. There's no doubt that the ambience and the feeling of luxury have taken a big step forward. The sweep of the dash is stunning, the central console appears to weave in and out of the dash, and Toyota's engineers have combined wooden surfaces, brushed aluminium and metallic brackets with devastating effectiveness. Even the door pads look like they belong on a more expensive car. While the design of the dash looks good enough to pass muster on something like a Camry, overall quality levels are actually more Corolla. The glove box has a few hard plastics that rattle when open. Some plastics in the lower half of the center console are clearly low rent, and the quality of the vents, well, they need to be a touch better. The new car seats are also considerably larger and more supportive, both for the thigh and the back, and there's a big step up in comfort on the all-important second row as well. And that leads us to the reason why these cars are so popular in the first place, the third row. Now, in most seven-seaters, the third row is quite compromised. It's cramped, it's difficult to get into. But in this car, the Innova, they've concentrated on giving you more space in the back. And it is pretty easy to get into the third row. Just watch this. It flips in one shot with just lifting up one lever. The step up isn't too much. Once you're sat in the back, it's pretty apparent that there's a lot of space and comfort here. There's enough knee room, especially if you adjust the second row. You are sat a bit low, but there's enough thigh support and comfort. You have your AC vents, you have a big cup holder here. There's even a three-pointed seat belt for the center passenger. So, all in all, good stuff. There's also a fair amount of luggage space in the back, even with all three rows up. You get a luggage net, and there's even space to place the center headrest for the third row. Now, under the hood is also a new engine, Toyota's new 2.4 2GD diesel engine. Now the new Innova gets an updated engine. You get 147 bhp now, which is a substantial jump over the earlier car. And that of course means you put your foot down, there's a lot more power. Yes, it has a greater spring in its step, but there is a bit of lag from the turbo, especially at the bottom end. And it's nowhere near as quick to respond as the current car. Still, the 6-speed automatic transmission and the engine work so well together, the lag is well masked. Part throttle responses are much stronger, and this leads to an air of effortlessness, something the current Innova is sorely lacking. You get three separate modes for the engine. There's Eco, which is obviously the most fuel-efficient one. There's the normal mode, which allows you both economy and power. And then you get this power mode, where you really do get a bit of an extra kick. It even feels reasonably quick when you drive flat out, the engine pulling all the way till 4,500 RPM. The problem with this new engine is that it isn't the most refined around. There's a bit of a gurgle and a gravelly note around 2,000 RPM. Put your foot down and it gets a bit noisier. And then by around 3,500–4,000 RPM, you can really hear the din. What is surprisingly nice is this 6-speed auto. It's quick to shift and you even get a nice Tiptronic function. It comes down the gears quite quickly, it's responsive, and it really is quite nice to drive out on the move. Get up to speed and you can feel the solidity of the Innova. For a big heavy vehicle, the stability is surprisingly good. You can hold on to high speeds without the car feeling nervous, and it sits rock solid at even triple-digit speeds. It really is nice. But it's not only the straight line stability that the Innova is good at. Also a big surprise is how stable it is around corners. You can carry a lot of speed into corners and the Innova just sorts itself out so beautifully. It really is nice to drive. And as for ride, the earlier Innova was renowned for its comfortable ride, and this car takes it to the next level. There's even more compliance, there's even more bump absorption, and even the sharp bumps don't seem to unsettle it much. At city speeds, some amount of rough surfaces do filter in, but the bumps are soaked up even better as speeds rise. Still, the Innova has always been our benchmark for ride, and this one feels even flatter overall. The new Innova, however, feels much larger from behind the wheel. It feels wider at the front, a little less keen to change direction, and it isn't nearly as agile as the current car. What is surprising is that the steering is a bit heavy, especially while driving at low speed and in traffic, and you do have to put a bit of extra effort into it. Of course, if you want to avoid the heave-ho, all you have to do is get into the back. Look at the construction of the seat, the quality of the fabric, the way this door pad is put together. You never had this on the earlier Innova. Of course, there's also the comfort. Nice long seat base, plenty of comfort there, good backrest, good support for the elbows. This really is a good car to be chauffeur driven in. The Innova has always been the MPV that blurred the lines between practical transport and personal mobility. And this one takes the game further. The new Innova is a big step forward for Toyota. It's a lot more comfortable inside, it's a lot more spacious, it's beautifully built, it's more luxurious on the inside, it's nicer looking on the inside, and it even comes with a much more powerful engine. It's not perfect though. The steering is a bit heavy, the engine is a bit noisy, and this car could be at least 15 or 20% more expensive than the current one. And that brings us to the key question: will customers be willing to pay that extra amount? We'll only be able to tell you that once the car is launched and priced in India. But for now, it remains a car worth waiting for. See you then.